Good morning, afternoon, or otherwise. I am Elio, and let us play Rayman Free for the GBA. I do like that intro sequence, and this title music. Let's press start, and whoa, a lot of language options we've got there. And without too many more nonsense, let's start the game. Globox, you know, swallowing that Dark Lum wasn't very clever. I know you wanted to save the teensy skins, but that's going too far. I didn't do it on purpose, Rayman. Yeah, that's what worries me. Now we gotta go and find someone who can cure you. But yeah, and guess who has to go along for the ride? Yours truly. Globox? Globox! Poof. Now where'd he get to? Since he swallowed the Dark Lum, he can't stay put. There's something wrong with him. Like, there wasn't anything wrong with him to begin with. I'd better find him before he goes and does something stupid. We've gotta find that idiot Globox. I've heard he swallowed a Dark Lum and given Rayman the slip. It's now or never, boys. But what will we do with Globox when we find him, boss? Not Globox, you moron! The Dark Lum! Thanks to its power, I'll be the head honcho. I'll take care of Rayman, and after that, there'll be no stopping me. You really think you can beat Rayman this time, boss? Beat him! I'll thrash him! I'll whack him! I'll wipe the floor with him! Tough words, and right away we're thrown into the first level of the game. So, we are the titular character, Rayman, and we gotta save our friend Globox, find a cure for his Dark Lum, and find him before the pirates do, like Razorbeard, the pirate leader. And here is Murphy, he's sort of a Navi-like character, and he kinda sounds like it too. Put on a bit of weight because he swallowed a Dark Lum. No fooling, what a crazy thing to do. So, he's just telling us you can go to these magic stones and he'll give you advice. Not that I'm going to be needing it. So, like Rayman 2, we've got yellow lums to collect. 1,000 of them technically, but it'll show up as 999, also like Rayman 2, until later. And you can also collect cages, just like Rayman 2 as well. So, plenty of collectibles for this game. Do start collecting stuff rather quickly, though. It is a Game Boy Advance game, though. Then again, Game Boy Advance can have large space. Anyways, yeah, and those posts signify the end of what I'm going to be calling an act. And there's several acts within a level, so usually 2, but there are a couple of exceptions which have 3 in them. A few exceptions. These lums here are actually rather hard to find. They're some rather well-hidden lums. There are well-hidden lums in this game, quite a few, so you want to keep your eyes open. Control-wise, you use the control pad to move, obviously. You use the A button to jump, and when you're in the air, you press A button again to use your heli hair and hover. And you can use the B button and shoot your fist. The longer you hold on for the button, the further your fist will fly. That green lum I got back there is a checkpoint. You can you respawn back there when you die, along with any lums you've collected at all. Oh, sugar butties, I appear to have missed that. Oh, I know why, because we're not supposed to be able to do that yet. That little structure with the crown I was trying to punch, we can't do anything about that quite yet. That's a purple lum. And if you played Rayman 2, you know what we'll be able to do with it eventually. More hidden lums that you gotta go out and wait for. This game is rather exploration based, so you gotta really keep your eyes open for those lums sometimes. Though you can breeze straight through this game if you're not collecting all the lums. And so we have 26 out of 30 lums. You'll only get that many the first time through because of that purple lum I pointed out. Or fell down pointing out. And at the end of some levels, you'll meet this character, Lai, a sort of wizard, Elfish. I'm not entirely sure what race she is. But, at the end of some levels, she'll give you a power-up like so. They're magical light beams of sorts. Not with silver lums like in Rayman 2. Because silver lums in this game are silver lums in this game are lives. But the power-up she's giving us first is to be able to use both of our fists at once, punch with our 2 fists. And we can change worlds. This is the main hub world. but at least one of the 4. And now we'll move on to our next level, Shining Glade. And though it's not a lot of levels, you want to look behind you, because there could be hidden lums and cages behind them. And here we have pirates! Just die! The main enemy of Rayman 2, and to some extent the main enemy of Rayman 3 GBA here. You may notice I'm comparing this game a lot to Rayman 2 instead of Rayman 3, like I should be. But, to be honest, there's a funny story behind that, because this game was originally going to be a GBA version of Rayman 3. No, Rayman 2. Hence a lot of similar game mechanics and stuff like that, and plot points. But since this game and the original Rayman 3 were being developed around the same time, I believe, they decided to make this they titled it Rayman 3 and sort of combined elements from both Rayman 2 and Rayman 3 into the same game. Cage hanging from there. So we have a lot of plot elements from Rayman 2 and a lot of gameplay elements. A few elements from Rayman 3, and the side-scrolling element of Rayman 1. So I recently have liked the idea of it being a mix between the 3 Rayman games. The first 3, anyway. Also behind that, it being mostly Rayman 2 rather than Rayman 3, you may have noticed from the title screen that this is just Rayman 3 and not Rayman 3 Hoodlum Havoc, like the original game is. And I believe the reason for that was because there's not an awful lot of hoodlums in this game, which hoodlums were one of the main enemies of Rayman 3 Hoodlum Havoc. There are only about 3 levels, so this was just named Rayman 3 instead. On to the second act, anyways. And we have a gate there. We can pick up these barrels by just walking up to them, and press the B button to throw them, and they'll crash into the cages and break them open. The gates, anyway. Bye, pirate. Those pirates actually do shoot. I'm just not giving them time to because I shoot pretty fast. As you saw, Silver Lum gained a life there. Break open the gate. And nothing down there, that's sort of a red herring. Don't want to go down there. When you're climbing on these branches, by the way, when you punch, you sort of you kick instead. You use your feet, which rather funny. Because obviously you need to hang on to the branch, and Rayman needs to hang on to the branch with 2 hands apparently. When you grab a barrel, you can press A and throw the barrel up, and you'll need to do that to get that cage there. Throw the barrel and break open that gate. And we have a green lum for another checkpoint. More waiting with barrels. Just great. And why I wanted to do this game, well, it's fairly nostalgic for me because it's, this game kicked my ass as a kid, I must admit. But this game does get hard later, definitely. And I've not finished this game 100% until recently, something like this March, so... but I wanted to do a fairly short sort of game to get used to a new posting schedule that I'm going to try and get used to. You'll see the results of that eventually. It's not going to be every day like I was doing for the most part for Pokemon White. Well, at least during the post game. Anyways, over here and... Dare I? Yeah, I do. Yeah. Alright, we're safe. We're safe. I'm very near the end of the level because we've only got 1 of them left. And the last cage is up there too. Jump, and there's our last lum. Die, parrot. We break open the cage, and then we have all the cages. And that's this level 100%ed. Pirates, you have no chance to do anything. Ha ha ha. Touch the rods and that ends the level. And now we'll move on to the next level. You may notice, by the way, we've got 106 lums and 7 cages, so we're over 10% of the way through this game already. This game is a short game, but not that short. Some of the later levels are longer. Oh boy, this level. Wondering where to find Glowbox. You think you may have gone to the Begoniax Marshes. I think that's how it's pronounced. That's where you reckon you'll find him. Sam the Snake will guide you. Just follow me and don't let me out of your sight. Nice bow tie there, I think. Oh boy, I hated these levels as a kid, and to a certain extent I still do now. Just like Rayman 2, you've got Sam the Snake here guiding you around, and sort of bonded for life, I guess. And to a certain extent that is true, because if you get detached from him, you will die. You got lums to collect along this path. And the bombs, if you touch them, they're instant death. And you got sort of the dirt patches here. If you touch them, you'll lose a unit of health. And that's about it for these levels. Wow, could you make this any easier? You just put 6 lums in a row. Oh, I missed that lum. Great. I'll have to go back and get that. These pumpkins, they'll reduce a unit of health if you hit them. Oh, and we have the barbs moving up and down. They're trying to get tricky on us. Alright, there are more swamp levels like this, and the bombs really move in erratic patterns. It's crazy. Yeah! And that's that level done. Now, excuse me a moment as I get that last lum again. Alright, so we got that last lum, and you have to complete a level in order to have those lums saved, so yeah. I guess while we get to the end of the level, I'll tell a fun story. I remember the first time I used to play these levels, and they were really hard for me because I didn't know you had to jump over those dirt patches. Sometimes when you die, Murphy will tell you that you've got to jump over the dirt patches, so I guess I didn't read the text carefully enough for a time or something. There we go, that's the level done. So the Swamp of Beginners done, and we shall move on to the next level. About 15% of the way done now. Just wow. So we got garish gears. No lums and no cages. Why? Because it's a boss fight. Based on the part in Rayman 2 where you got to free Lai from her Energon cage-ish thing. And you've got to hit them with that, the energy field with barrels. So, similar, you've got a cannon here shooting you with bombs, shooting you with the nonsense. And you've got to pick up the barrels and hit the gears behind the cannon. And as you can see at the top right, we've got the gears which kind of act like its life. And you've got to throw just like Rayman 2 as well, you've got to throw the barrels up to be able to punch the gears. No, punch the bombs, because you can't punch while holding a barrel. And we're nearly there, we're just gonna get this last barrel. Whoa! This... I think the rate that he's spitting out the bombs increases as he has less lives. I say he as though it's got a gender. But it's a machine. And here's Lai again. Need a bit of help. Need to be able to grab onto purple lums to get where we're going fast. Just throw your fist towards them to hang on. So yes, now we'll be able to swing on those purple lums like we saw in that very first level. As it shall be demonstrated. I'm not moving Rayman at the end during this demo here. By the way, you don't move during the demos. Alright, so that's Garish Gears done, and before we end this video off, I am going to head back into the very first level and collect those last few lums, which we could only get until we have the power to be able to hold on to purple lums, so I shall see you in the second act where we'll get those lums. Alright, by the green lum checkpoint again. And from here is around about where the Purple Lum was, so we're just gonna climb some vines, hop over here, and you can grab onto the edge and you sort of drop down and you can just punch it, and you'll swing like Tarzan from Purple Lum to Purple Lum. This one's kind of finicky, but there we go! All Lums collected. Make sure we're safe. And because we need to get to the end of the level to be able to have these Lums saved, here is a good place to stop. So I thank you for watching this first part of Rayman Free for the GBA, and I shall see you next time.